Hi, welcome to my house at Christmas. Come on in. I want you to meet my dear friend, Jeff Latham, who is responsible for designing this beautiful place. He is the artistic director of Jeff Latham Designs. You were like Mr. Christmas, but all year
King
long.
of Christmas, but
yeah.
We have so much fun.
All my kids and myself look forward to Christmas every year now because Jeff decorates our houses and we get so excited. So I'm gonna show you a couple things that he's done this year that blew me away. Really the start of Christmas is the loading in of the Christmas tree. And it's amazing how much organization and production goes into just getting the trees inside and getting them lit.
It took us literally like almost 24 hours just to light everything. Because we don't just throw the lights on, we go in and then we tie each branch and we pull them in and we go out. And then we climb up on ladders and we have people holding people, and it's this whole process that takes days. You know, you've seen so many amazing displays in your home over the years, so bringing the tree in is always like a big deal.
And I think one of the fun things is just deciding on what the theme of the tree is going to be, because that sets the tone for the entire house. I said I want to do something with candy, and he came up with this, and it's like, wow!
The whole aspect of this beautiful black and white marble floor with the red and white of the tree, it's about shape, it's about color. The theme is Candyland chic. Candyland with a K. Candyland with a K sheet.
Duh.
Yeah, hello.
So you want to show him the living room?
Let's go.
So this living room started with 3 beautiful reindeer that we found, and when we discovered that they actually had moving antlers, that was really exciting. We love these so much that he also recreated it at Chloe's house in Cleveland this year, which he just finished a couple days ago.
With live snow, like cutting down the tree in the forest. Exactly.
I know. Well, we don't have live snow, so we did the second best thing, and he created this. Look what you did here. Tell me about this.
Well, the whole design of this room is so clean and pure. We really wanted to focus and not take away from the room itself, but add an art installation. So instead of doing garland, how we have in years past, we created this sculpture. We like creating things that obviously are Christmas, but something that you could actually like leave up.
I love the stockings with the fireplace, and it kind of just goes with the whole room. And the reindeer haven't been named yet. I wanted to do something obvious like Dancer and Prancer, but Mason and Penelope and Rain and Saint and North are gonna choose some names, so I can't wait for that. So now the best thing this year for Christmas, and the thing I'm most excited about, is my beautiful red bear. Jeff is very famous for these amazing magical animals. He called me from Paris one day and said, we have this shot at getting the guy from Paris to make you a bear.
And they're actual pieces of art. I mean, when you see, we've never had one of these in the United States. It was important for us that people saw the bear and saw the tree at the same time. They're an installation together, actually.
Mason decided it's a boy, and his name is Christmas.
It's Christmas. So Christmas is here. Christmas is really my time where we're actually able to play with sculpture and design and a little bit more. So it's our most favorite time of the year.
Yes, and wait till you see what he did with my table. So every year, I'm really kind of crazy because I like to set the table and kind of leave it that way for the whole time. I enjoy looking at my dishes and bringing everything out, and it means it's the holidays. This year, I went with plaid. Plaid is very traditional, and it reminds me of being in the mountains. It's very Tommy Hilfiger or Ralph Lauren, you know, that kind of a feel. So I mixed the plaid with snowmen this year. I found these great snowman plates, and they look so good together, but then I really added the glam factor with these gorgeous Christoffel eggs that are so stunning. And inside is an entire set of silverware, which I did the gold with the plaid because I thought it was so dramatic.
You like to mix things together so that there's, you know, there's multi-usage, and so
layers.
Exactly.
I like layers.
So we wanted to go off the colors of the plates with the snowman and obviously the gold. Usually we do a lot of white flowers in the house, but obviously this year, going off of the whole feeling of the tree and the bear, with the plaid we used, you know, just color block these beautiful mounds of red roses with a touch of black calla just to add that naughty or nice Christmas. You know, for us it's really about whimsical. It's about fun. fun, it's about family. So it's about sitting at a table and just being excited to be there.
Yes.
So that's why we played with the roses hanging from the chandelier. It's the tradition with that aspect of mid-century modern and cool, and so this is a table that I'll probably be at a lot.
Yeah.
She'll be like, why, Jeff, why are you at my table? You let Jeff in the gate.
I know, you just won't
He's just
leave.
sitting there, he won't leave.
He doesn't leave, ever. We don't want to leave you guys, but he's got a lot of decorating to do, so.
We're running around.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
When we first finalised the colour scheme, you were like, oh God, it's going to be Oscar Wilde by way of a Brazilian bordello on his way to meet Marie Antoinette, or something like that. I knew I wanted to live in this area. I've loved it around here for years, and I grew up just off Portobello Road. And I looked at so many houses, but one of the big issues I had was the big painting I have downstairs in the hallway. Enormous, impossible to place in most London spaces. And then finally I found this place, and as soon as I walked in, I loved it. I'd already been in touch with Benedict at this point, kind of saying, this is my plan, please will you help me, realise my dream home. What I really didn't want to do with this house was have this crazy idea, do it all, and then in a year, 18 months, be bored of it and want to do something completely different. And that's when you were so instrumental in just stripping back my ideas and being like, this is what it should be.
We started this by looking at what you already had. Even, when we got to the point of the list of stuff that we did need to buy, it was very much looking at antiques.
We wanted to be very selective about what we bought, making sure that it was from a brand that we liked or from a designer that we either knew or liked or was local. The additional skills we needed in the house, it made sense to go into our dress book really and see and champion the work of people who we really love and care about. And the project has taken just over a year. Good things do take time. They do take time, but I'm very ready to kind of show everyone what we've done.
I mean, it was always about a party, so we are going to have the party.
Finally have that Christmas drinks party.
I know.
Let's hope they like it.
It's pretty decorated in here already, but it's
we don't want to
fun
overdo
just. Well, I mean, do we not want to overdo it?
Well, this room I think we can overdo it. Maybe we'll keep it a bit more.
This is quite camp in here.
Yeah,
I do quite enjoy it. Really?
No.
The moment you come in, we had this amazing idea that it would just be perfect to connect the two spaces downstairs, upstairs together with this vibrant kind of movement that really recalled, the sort of the palette work of the painting that's next to it. And, it really is another artwork in the house.
This one is called Cylinder, and the small shards that you see, we call them shards of glass. They're actually picked up when the glass is hot, so it's a drawing that's in glass. You wouldn't know that. It's very abstracted by the time it becomes a rug.
Being able to actually share this physically with you was such an excitement because so often when something happens it's far away, you never really get to see it, and it is really joyful, and I think
it's your welcome.
Yeah, it is. It's the perfect welcome, so thank you.
An invitation.
Yeah.
Hello, you.
Oh, hi.
Thank you. Hi, darling.
Come sit.
Thank you very much.
When I kind of told him what I wanted, Benedict suggested that I got in touch with you and looking into the, and kind of recommended that I looked into the Farnborough archive. And so we had quite a lot of fun going through the colours and splashing them on the wall and really going big with the samples until we finally settled on what we kind of have here. I wanted something that was reflective of, who I am as a person now, as well as lots of nods to my past. So I grew up in Brazil, so that really obviously informs a lot of the brighter colour choices in the house, or the vibrancy. And then it goes into sort of more Mediterranean, which is where I spent a lot of my childhood growing up with my grandfather, which is more the kitchen.
The way you've layered the greens in next door with the bancha, which is from my current collection, and then bringing your, as you say, your origins, living in Brazil and everything, coming to this fiery red of bisque, which is just so unexpected. But it's really beautiful. It's not oppressive. It's not like, I couldn't live in this space. It's It sort of wraps you up and just makes you smile.
I think we've settled on some pretty good choices in here.
You certainly have. You certainly have.
You know my name, Viola.
Yeah.
Means purple.
Well, strangely, we keep on. Yeah. It's very exciting to have you in this space. This room doesn't really have a proper function in some senses. It's an attic room, it's quite low ceilinged. Because of that, sort of including your work in here was very important for me. This particular pattern here, which was created by you, kind of using some paper and some starch, no?
Yeah, starch and paper. It's like an old technique for decorative papers.
In fact, it even recalled there's a strange kind of enormous Japanese floor vase over there which has this kind of wavy rim, which in some senses could be kind of almost horrible. It's back to my love of horror charm. But it all worked together, and then the serpentine of this table, and sometimes it's hard to really I know you get it, but it's hard
to add movement to a room that otherwise it's quite
rigid in here.
With decorative element.
Exactly, and because this is the end of the house, I almost wanted people to be drawn up the staircase and into a vortex.
Yes, and I love how you use the shades.
The fantastic thing about your shades is that they have this sort of slightly fugitive shape because the light moves around them, so they have this movement again.
Yes. And where do you find the carpet? How did you find the matching carpet?
Well, I suppose, so it wasn't really supposed to be matching, but this is actually recycled office carpet. This room, everything is low in here, and the idea is that people can come in, they can sit on the sofa, there's some big floor cushions, and you can kind of sit around and play games or talk or whatever. We've worked together on a few things, and it's always been a very productive, sort of subconscious kind of conversation.
Yeah, I think, the great ideas come from conversation and interaction with friends and other creatives.
Yeah, well that's it, we spend a lot of time talking, so it's not unusual that we should find some kind of synergy in our work.
Thanks for coming, guys. So we're sitting here in what we rather grandly call the library, which kind of feeds into the whole country house aesthetic that we were going for. But this room came together quite quickly, actually, compared to the rest of the house. It was something that we were very clear about what we wanted, but rather unusually, because there's so much going on in the room itself, we hadn't really thought about the floor and about the carpet. And it was actually the last thing that we put in was this carpet, and we weren't even sure if we were going to do one. And then when you released your collection, we saw it and thought, oh my God, this is almost like it's made for this room.
A lot of people perhaps wouldn't consider a lilac rug, and I think in a room like this, it makes it really special. And as you say, it really completes the room because the greens sort of pick up each other, whereas the lilac sort of feels special and it's a little bit eye-catching, but at the same time doesn't scream or take over.
And weirdly, something you would maybe never think, but I think in this room, the lilac almost becomes a neutral, which is quite cool.
Yeah.
When we came in, you pointed out these amazing tiles, which I guess are probably original to the house. And they've got that sort of Victorian kind of floral thing with the bird, and I think the bird's wings picks up the lilac really well. It's very cool that you kind of give birth to this thing and then it's no longer yours. And you can kind of watch it go out into the world and have its own life, which I think is quite exciting.
It's almost like watching, going first day of school type of thing. You're like, bye, have a lovely life, and then takes on its own little universe.
And then it invites you around for drinks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, see how it's getting on.
And here we are.
And here we are. We're in the kitchen, which is definitely one of my, if not my favourite room in the house. I think one of the things I love most about it is the colour. It's definitely one of the rooms I spend the most time in, which is ironic, bearing in mind I can boil an egg and that's about it. So what I tend to do is I tend to invite per dinner party group someone who is an excellent cook, and they take over as soon as they arrive, which is terrible. I mean, Gavin even, for example, tonight knew this about me and bought a cake knowing that I would have forgotten all about dessert. So tonight, seeing as it's a bit of a special occasion and we've got all the creatives coming, I thought I would ensure we had something edible to actually eat. So my favourite local restaurant, which is called Ida, which is around the corner actually, they're very sweetly dropping us some nice food for us to eat this evening, which will be great.
Look how pretty.
Look how nice these are.
Thank you, darling. Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
This is looking amazing.
It's very exciting to have you in the space, finally. The theme of this kitchen really is very much things that could be humble, but actually for me, for you, for Max, are worthy of more consideration than some people might, normally bother to give something. I mean,
Well, I think he likes handmade things by the looks of it.
He does, yeah, which is why we have rather a lot of your ceramics in here. I think I showed him one plate and he just ran with it.
Actually, I prefer to see them on the setting before you eat, in a way, so that you see a whole table of them. They look quite charming. You fill them with food, they're not so funny. But when they're naughty and you're eating,
it's quite. I might have to actually just slightly.
You could put
I'm going to just.
You can put a cracker.
Yeah, I'll put a well-positioned cracker on there. But you do get the idea.
They're quite nice because you can be a little bit playful and a bit naughty. I think plates can be naughty because they're such a sort of domestic, everyday, boring thing. He has a good eye, that Max.
He has a good eye. I think one of the really fantastic things for me about doing this project with him is that I've been able to introduce other artists and makers who I love, and he has really connected with them. I think that is really one of the things that this whole house has been. It's very much not just been this creative collaboration, but also it's been about friendship and, not just my friendship with Max, but friendship with other people. And,
But it feels like it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun,
that's
fun.
it. And having fun, I think,
I love it.
Which is so thrilling
It's so
to be able
refreshing.
to, yeah. I always think with any project, one of the things that you have to do is you have to find the story. And this was about making a space for you to, entertain in. This has always been a kind of drinks party in a funny way.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why people just turf stuff out is because they're not really connected to things. And I've always felt that if you have a strong connection to something, you tend to really value it and love it for longer. If you enjoy somebody's work, you get enthused.
Often, they see things in a different way and they offer a fresh take and a fresh perspective, and that makes it so much more interesting and so much more fun.